In this video, we're going to continue to look at solving an absolute value inequality. And we're going to use the same procedure we used before, and that is we have to get the absolute value all by itself. So same as when we were solving the equations and when we were solving the other inequalities. So get the absolute value part by itself. And then the second thing we're going to do is we're going to split up the absolute value. Split up after we look at problem. Okay, so the couple examples here. So solve. So the first one here, the absolute value of x plus 8 is less than 19. So here's my absolute value part. That's the part that I want to get all by itself. So the first thing that I'm going to do is move this 8. I want to move this 8 to the other side. And the way that I'm going to do that is by subtracting 8 to both sides of the inequality. So now I have the absolute value of x is less than 11. And now that I have the absolute value all by itself, I want to look at this other side. So this other number over here is positive, so that's fine. We're going to split stuff as normal. So this is, we're split into the negative case and the positive case. Remember, in the negative case, we have to flip the sign. So this is going to be x, instead of less than, it's going to now be a greater than negative 11. And in the positive case, we just leave it alone. So x is less than 11. And then as we did before, we're going to draw both of these on a number line. So say here's 0, here's negative 11, here's positive 11. So I'll draw this first one here in pink. So x is greater than negative 11. So that would mean I have an open circle, and then I'm going all the way, all the things that are greater, so to the right. I'm going to do this one here in blue. X is less than 11. So I have an open circle at 11, and I'm doing all the way to the left. And then my answer is going to be this part here in the middle. So my answer is going to be from negative 11 to 11. Now, something to watch out for, if Alex makes you graph this, it only wants the middle part shaded in. So it wouldn't want this part out here and this part out here. It would only want the answer if it asks you to graph it. But I use this part here to help me figure out how to get the answer. So let's try another one. So this time, how about we do 10 plus the absolute value of x is less than 16. So again, here's my absolute value part. That's what I want to get all by itself. So I'm going to look here. There's a 10. It's a positive 10, and it's being added to this. But because it's a positive 10, I want to bring it to the other side. And to do that, since it's a positive 10, I would subtract 10 from both sides. So I'm going to subtract 10. And we're going to get the absolute value of x is less than 6. So again, I have the absolute value all by itself. So what I'm going to do now is split this into two problems. So the negative case and the positive case. Again, remember in the negative case, you have to flip the sign. So it's going to become x is greater than 6. And in the positive case, it's just going to be x is less than 6. And then again, we're going to draw it on a number line. So here's 0. We're going to need negative 6 and positive 6. So this first one here in pink, x is greater, oops, I forgot my negative when I did that, didn't I? This should be x is greater than negative 6. Sorry about that. So x is going to be bigger than negative 6. So it's going to go this way. This one here is that x is less than 6. So it's going to go this way. And again, as I kind of said before, that the inequality sign points which direction it's going, right? So since I'm less than, I'm moving towards the way the arrow is pointing. So that's why I draw it this way, the way the arrow is pointing. And then since they cross, I'm going to take the overlap. So this answer in interval notation is going to be from -6 to 6. So we'll try a couple more here. So, maybe let me go back to black here. C. So 3 times the absolute value of x is greater than 33. So again, I need to get this absolute value part here all by itself. If you notice, the 3 is being multiplied times the absolute value. So the opposite of multiplication is division. So the first thing I'm going to do is divide both sides by 3. And now we're going to have the absolute value of x is greater than 11. And now, again, I have the absolute value. The number over here is positive, so I don't have to worry about it. And I'm going to split it into that negative case and the positive case. So remember, in the negative case, we have x. We have to flip the sign, so less than -11. Positive case just stays the same, x greater than 11. And then I'm going to draw it on the number line. So here's 0, here's -11, here's +11. So x is less than -11, so it's going to be an open circle, and we're going to go to the left. X is greater than +11, so an open circle, and we're going to go to the right. And then we're trying to take both of these parts. So we're trying to take, since they don't overlap, we have to take all the pieces. So this piece and this piece. So the answer is going to be -infinity to -11 union 11 to infinity. That's how I put both pieces together. And I have one more. About 4, absolute value of x is less than or equal to 12. So again, I'm looking for the absolute value part. There it is. I want to get that all alone, and the 4 is being multiplied times the absolute value, so I'm going to divide both sides by 4. And so the 4's would cancel out, and I'd just be left with the absolute value of x is less than or equal to 3. Again, I'm going to look, this is positive, right? We only have to stop and kind of think about things as this ever turns out to be negative. But this is positive, so we're just going to split it into the negative part and the positive part. Remember, in the negative part, we have to flip the sign. So this is going to be x is greater than or equal to -3. And x is less than or equal to +3. I'm going to draw my number line. So -3, +3. Do this first one here in pink. So x is greater than or equal to -3. So greater than or equal to is going to get a solid dot, and then greater than or equal to, we're going to go to the right. Less than or equal to is going to be in blue, so it's going to be a solid dot. And then we're going to go to the left, and then we're looking for where the two overlap. So they overlap right there. The solid dot is a square bracket. So square bracket, -3 to 3 with another square bracket. And so the things to remember are, you need to get the absolute value all by itself. You have to check to make sure this is a positive number. Then we split it. If our answers overlap, like they did here, we're going to take the overlap. If they don't overlap, like over here, we're just going to take each of those pieces.